Hi, all paisanos. I hope that you're tuning in to listen to super words of wisdom from Jodi Short. Let me do a little introduction for you. Um, Jodi and her husband Will are certified SYMBIS facilitators. Is that how you say it, Jodi?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Okay, so it's an award-winning marriage assessment, and they are certified doing that. And they have attended and led multiple marriage workshops and retreats. They have mentored, I think you were saying, hundreds of engaged, committed, and married couples over the last decade. And their hands on experience of navigating their way through 29 years of marriage is definitely part of their expertise. And they are still both passionately in love, and they have the highest credentials. And I cannot wait to hear some tips that Jodi has for us on working with your spouse. There were times, like I was saying the other day to Jodi, like I wanted to strangle you guys. A lot of you know Michael from our live videos, but I wanted to strangle him for chewing loudly in the morning when I'm used to doing my journaling. And I was just like, I'm not used to having this guy around. And I've been I guess you can tell I'm in my bedroom because my dining room office has been taken over by Michael. You know, that's his office now. So Jodi, I'll just let you go, and please, love to hear what you have to say. And thank you so much for being here on our group live. Really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, Christy, thank you so much. This is so fun. And I think that during some of these uncertain times and the whole COVID-19, that any chance that we get to try to empower each other or to help each other out with some tips or solutions or strategies, I think is just one of the beautiful things that can come out of this whole situation. So I'm so happy to be here and I'm excited. As you know, and as you talked about, I am so passionate about healthy, thriving, extraordinary relationships. I just always have been. And so, Will, he's my husband. So Will and I have been married for almost 30 years. And our history is that both of us have always worked outside the home. And so over the last 30 years, we spent time going to work and not being home together. And so we have what I would say is one of my husband's superpowers, can be positive and negative, but he is the hardest worker I know. And so what we've managed and worked on in the past is more about quality time than quantity time because we haven't gotten as much quality time, as we can, or quantity time as we can. And so now when we both are working from home now. And so at first, initially, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I get to spend all day with him. And so that truth is that was a great thought, but I can be easily distracted and easily distracted by him. So I literally had to come up with some different tips and solutions that I could use and I could put into my life so that we could both function and we could both be effective and get some things done. So these are kind of just some ideas that I have put into place that have made us more productive. If any of your listeners or audience has any ideas too, that's amazing, just to kind of give us some ideas too. But number one thing I think, and what has worked for us, is that we have shared what our schedule or our office hours are going to be. And so, whether it be the day before, the evening before, or the morning of, like last night, we literally sat down and we talked about what our day was going to be. So, I always usually I get up really early, about 5:15, and I do an outside walk, no matter what the temperature. And so I'm like, I'll be up 5:15, out doing my walk. And then when I come home, I usually always want to do a meditation. So kind of have some quiet time. So, letting each other know, okay, I have a Zoom call, I have a conference call, I need some uninterrupted time. So this morning, last night, he said to me, I have a 7 o'clock Zoom call, I have an 8 o'clock Zoom call, I have a 10 o'clock Zoom call. And so then I told him about my walk, my meditation. I kind of wanted uninterrupted time to kind of do some content or some writing, and then I had this with you. So if we can kind of just give each other our schedule, like I said, the night before or morning of, just so you kind of know this is what I need and communicate with each other. We also communicated that this morning was going to be my turn to make breakfast, but he made it yesterday. So just those kind of
So
things.
smart. That's
Yeah.
so smart, because then you're not going to feel resentful if he comes and talks to you, because he knows like this is her time. She's talking to Christy right now in the Paisanos. Yeah, no, I think that's super smart. And I love that you respect each other's morning time too. Like that, my husband and I do that where we have to like, don't talk to me for that first hour because I'm doing my thing. So
Yeah.
cool. So that's tip number one, guys. And somebody said 30 years doing something right. That, amen. Amen. Anyone who's been married a long time knows that that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. It is totally worth it, but it is
Yeah.
challenging and you have to be intentional and you have to work at it for sure. So thank you for that. My second tip is that create your own workspace, just like you were talking about a little bit there, if you can. And the main reason, number one, like I said, I totally get distracted. I do. So me, I get distracted. But the other thing is when I work, I have to have complete silence. I work so well when it's really quiet. So, if I'm writing, if I'm reading or creating some content or whatever, I just need quiet. And so for my husband, complete opposite. Like he listens to music the entire time he's working. He can be listening to music and writing, and it doesn't even phase him. He actually needs the music to kind of motivate him. So for us, even though I wouldn't mind sitting across from him, and sometimes we do it at a long table, um, uh, it's hard because, like I said, he wants that music and I want complete silence. So that part is hard. And to keep a little bit of distance sometimes, is good for you too. So you guys, your workspace is opposite, or you kind of do different places?
He's super loud like your husband, and I prefer quiet. Like my husband is, he'll take a break and play guitar, and it's like, oh my gosh. So I do like I'm upstairs and on a different level, with the door closed, and then he's downstairs, and he's a salesman, so he's talking to people all day long. Even now, he's dealing with things. So yeah, definitely need to hide out in my bedroom, and I made it a little office space. Like I ordered a little like a little laptop desk, I guess is
Yeah.
what, yeah. So anyway, so I'm kind of loving it. I put some, like, I don't know if you can see, I put some party lights up to make it a little more cheery, but it's still my bedroom, so it's a little weird. But you know what? Whatever. You just do what you got to do.
You
So
do.
that's a great tip and right now you guys easily can find different places to go in your house, it sounds
We
like.
can. And
Yeah.
sometimes when we're doing things where I don't have to have complete silence, we'll work across. We have a huge kitchen table that we will work across from each other. But
Yeah.
downstairs or even upstairs, we can separate a little bit. So that works out better because, like I said, I kind of want the quiet and he loves the music going
Yeah.
all
I
long.
hear you. We're the same here. All right. Thanks. That's
Yeah.
a great tip.
Okay, so my third tip that I have implemented and kind of put in is that to take breaks and lunches together if you want. So, honestly, throughout our whole marriage, even when we have both worked outside the home, we have made it an effort to connect with each other during the day, no matter what, even if it's a quick text. If you can get on the phone and talk live for a little bit, send a photo, send just something fun to each other just to connect because it's a long day and it's a long work day. And so to be able to connect during the day. So really, if we can, even like halfway through the morning, oh my gosh, let's take 15 minutes, especially amazing sunshiny day like today, and let's just walk around the block. Let's do lunch together. Let's make lunch together, and then take a break in the afternoon. It honestly, during these times, if you can take advantage of even connecting when you are face to face and you're live and you're both together, you can connect even on a deeper level. So take advantage of those times. Sometimes things like this or different stressors can, strengthen you or it can break you. So if you're intentional about it and if you have the power to choose, to make that choice, if you can take your breaks together, then that is my next tip that we've kind of been trying to do and work at. So
I like that. And I like the idea of, okay, you're already going to take a lunch. So you're not going to think, like, sometimes I would sit there and think, oh crap, I should be working and I'm talking to my husband. Like, I always feel like a lot of, and as, somebody who's self-employed, you're employed, but you also have your own business. So you're even busier than me. But sometimes we feel like we need to be hustling all the time. So that kind of takes the pressure off. Like I can enjoy my husband while I'm doing something else and I don't feel stressed that I should be working. And I love the idea of taking a walk. Like we've been doing that all the time. And I'll feel anxious. It's like, let's go for a walk. And it's been amazing to spend an hour. We take a long walk to spend an hour with my husband in the middle of the week. So I'm trying to look at the blessings of that, like the slower pace and all the benefits of what's going on right now, and just trying to get into those instead of worrying about everything. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, definitely doing something healthy. I know we both know Shannon Foreman, and Shannon, her and her husband, they go to I think they've been going to their garage and they work out together, which is super cute. Like that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So that's a great tip. Thanks, Jodi. I'll let you move on.
Okay, so my fourth tip that I have implemented or have used now is to check in with each other just like it would be your colleague or your teammate. You know, you have to maybe have some rules, some courtesy, some respect. So, literally checking in, and it can be at the end of the day and just kind of saying what worked for us today, what didn't work for us. You know, sometimes like if he's working and I kind of sneak over his shoulder, does it bother you if I look over your shoulder? Is this a bad time? You know, but if you're just kind of checking in, like I said, as you would with another colleague or someone, a team member that you're working with, but give them their space, and do that, and like I said, sometimes even at the end of the day with you, when you guys talk about it, it can make for a better day the next time or make for some improvements or that communication again, your feedback, to make the next day run smoother if it needs to.
I love that. Michael and I do puppy talk, coffee talk, where we get the dogs and we get our coffee every morning, and it's like a sacred time, and we check in, how you doing, what's going on. But I like the idea of having a check-in the night before to kind of go over the day and say, what can we maybe do different tomorrow. And I think one of the challenges we're having is parenting, and dealing with our kids. And I sort of said, some of the stuff that's going to happen right now, we have to just give each other a pass. Like
Yes.
I, like my niece, I remember her and her husband when they had their newborns, and they were just having a heck of a time at night, and they were just saying like awful things to each other in the night. And then they would wake up in the morning and they're like, anything that we have said to each other in the middle of the night is like Vegas. Like it stays at night. We just move on, totally a pass on anything said to each other in the middle of the night. So I told Michael that. I said, during this time, like, let's try to give each other a little bit of grace. Like, it's going to be super stressful, and there's going to be moments where you drive me crazy and I drive you crazy. And let's kind of like give it a little bit of that. What happens during this time, let's give each other a little bit of grace and a little bit of a pass. And I think by checking in at the end of the day and saying, was there something, how did it go?
Yeah.
Like you said, like treating it like a professional relationship in a way is really smart. I love that. So awesome. Thank you.
Well, and even like with Will and I, and like I said, we've been married for over 30 or almost 30 years. And so there are times when I can look at him and say, oh my gosh, husband, you are bothering me, go take a walk or what, I need some of my own space. But words can be really powerful too, that even sometimes what we do is come up with like a safe word, just a funny word that literally means get out, but can make us laugh at the same time. You know what I mean?
Love that. I love
You're
that.
keeping still positive energy, but you're
Mhm.
letting know, I respect you. But we got to have some rules and I need some of my own space, so
That's
that's
awesome.
the other thing for us right now. So we have three children, but they're all grown. So our children are 23, 25, and 27. And so they're out of the house now. So that we don't have that distraction anymore. We had it for many years because we raised these children together. But I did, and I already told you this, Christy, but I did say to my husband a couple weeks ago that I felt like I needed a baby or a puppy to
Oh,
inner peace, and we rescued a puppy. So
oh,
almost more distracting than my adult children would be. You know what I mean? So
totally.
talk to about our schedule on who's going to have the puppy sitting at their feet, you know what I mean, during the day, or if it has to be kenneled, or if, so
Yeah.
that too, if you can discuss those kind of things, the distractions that you don't necessarily have control over, but will be there, because then expectation is, you know, you're going to have some distractions, and you've kind of worked it out or talked about
Mhm.
it. So that kind of has been helpful to us too with the puppy versus the kids.
That's really good because there is that obligation to care for something else, and you're going to get resentful if you're doing it all the time, you know. So if you have a conversation beforehand, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
oh, we need a safe word, says someone. I know, right? Isn't that so smart?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
your puppy's not in the room right now. You can hold
no,
it.
I mean,
Oh,
I actually, since I had Christy time at 11, will take him outside. So he's in
oh, okay, okay.
Mumford right now, but he is unbelievable. And if you do like pets, or if you
Mhm.
do dogs, there's just something that, you know, they're always happy. He's a little fluff ball, you know, and it's
Oh.
so yeah, it's good. But my last tip that I can just think of right now is that we have implemented is have an end to the workday. I mean, have an end. The workday is over, and now it's home life, you know, work life, home life, to have a complete end. And we, even for us, we choose to do an event. So if you want to
Mm.
do an event at the end of your workday, you know, whether it be you know, maybe you start making dinner together. Maybe you go for a walk. Maybe
Mhm.
you pour a drink, you know, maybe
Mhm.
you do a high five, or set an alarm, set a buzzer. We're going to work till, and you know, sometimes things you can be caught in the middle of something, but set a buzzer. Give yourselves, like I said, a high five, or do a dance, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
We like to kind of wind down and go down and sing karaoke, you know,
Oh,
so
that's right. I remember you do sing
yeah,
karaoke. You have a machine.
we
Oh my God.
do. So it's fun, you
Oh,
know, just
what's your favorite song to sing?
you know what? I love
Mm.
Chicks. I kind of like some country stuff. I love the Dixie
Yeah.
Chicks. I love
Oh
some
yeah.
of the old, it's ridiculous, but I love like the Air Supply and the Journey, and, you know,
Oh, me too.
Reunited,
Me too.
all of those. But so I
Yeah.
do like, you know, some of those, but it's just something that literally kind of like the other day when we had a meeting, and to get up and to
Mhm.
move your body and move around, and
Yeah.
how it can
Yeah.
just kind of, you know, change the environment and things. So you've been working all day, and to just have a complete end, like I said, to your work day, so that, you know, now home life is starting. You know what I mean? So
I
those
think
have
that's
been,
so smart.
yeah, those have just been kind of, because I had to think of some different tips and strategies.
Mhm. Mhm.
I am so open to any other tips and strategies if anyone has any other really good ideas, because it's
Yeah.
so helpful to me, and it has been helpful that we have implemented some of these things in order for us to, like I said, be productive.
Does anybody have anything they want to add on to the chat about things that have been working for them and their partner? Or you can always do it later if you don't want to chime in right now. I love the idea of the end of the work week. When we started our mastermind, Jodi and I are in a mastermind group together. They were asking about, our small group was asking about challenges, and mine was Jodi trying to end my workday because I get obsessive, and it's like, well, I can do this, I can do that. And so I've been sort of looking for some type of a shutdown ritual. And I think you nailed it, that you just need to physically do something else. It's not necessarily a matter of closing my laptop. I think it's a matter of doing an event, like you said, going on a walk or doing something. And was it yesterday we were hearing about the benefits of singing, like how that changes your complete
Singing
state?
and dancing, and we were talking about that. Yes. So
Oh, somebody says we try to talk about dinner ideas before crunch time so we don't get frustrated with each other. That's super smart. You know, on this app we're using, you guys, I cannot see who's saying what. So I'm sorry. It just says Facebook user. I apologize that I can't address you by name. But I love that because you know what? I don't know about you guys, but in my house, if we don't have like some type of a plan for dinner, we're both in there super hangry.
yeah,
And it is not a good time because we're both hungry and
yeah,
we're crabby and we need to eat, and it's like that's not the time to decide what you're going to have for dinner. So I think that's really smart.
that is
um,
smart. You know, they say too, even like right now when you're home more often, the more structure and organized that you can be, you know, the easier that will be, because it is hard. You can get irritated, and these are stressful times for a lot of people. And so we were talking even the other day too, just about, you know, being more proactive with your mindset versus being reactive with your mindset. When you do, you know, just react to some things versus, like we said before, just having the power to kind of choose how you're going to react
mhm.
to something. So yeah, it is a smart thing to have things already scheduled, just like your audience just was saying, and kind of know what you are going to have.
And the safe word is being prepared to not react, because you have something in replace of reacting with irritation or resentment. You're giving a safe word to get out of it. We have a standing date night, might be frozen pizza and Dateline, but we plan for our date. I love that.
I love it so much
I
too.
love that.
You should, no matter what, even during this uncertain time, have a date night once a week for sure.
Mm,
Every 2 weeks, even though you're together, if you are intentional about creating that date, it's a whole different environment. I mean, plan the date, get dressed up,
mm,
do those things, and then whatever that date's going to be. I know you're a little bit more limited, but there's still a ton of things, especially when then with the nice weather coming up, that you can go ahead and go do and plan that date night together. So that is so important. Will and I, what we usually do is we would do a date night every 2 weeks, and
mhm.
every quarter, so every 3 months, we would do an overnight. I mean, just get out of our home matter what, like it might be downtown. We go to a hotel downtown, or, but just get away for the night, sleep somewhere else. And then once a year, if we can, do a vacation by the ocean. So, but it's so important to always date your spouse. But, and even in these times, like I said, we do, and it's kind of, silly, but it works because we have a jar and we update it every now and again, that each of us puts different things in that we want to do for our date, put it in the jar,
Mhm.
and then went out
Isn't it
because
always sex from the guy? Oh, just kidding.
yeah, no, sometimes sex or
Or from the women.
yeah, yeah, no, but just that then
Sorry, I went there.
no, well, yeah. But just that you're both then putting in some things that you enjoy doing together, or that you enjoy doing, and then you pull them out and you do it, so yeah, so that's a
And you
fun
have
thing.
to be
Yeah,
creative, like because you don't want to put in like have sex every single time. You want to do something different, have a
absolutely,
picnic in the backyard, and we have to be creative nowadays.
you
And I'm
do.
so glad you said that, Jodi, because I was going to ask you, can you share your date strategy? Because I love that you do that. And I just wanted to say, like, that it's still a whole year to do your beach vacation. You just,
Oh yeah.
yeah, you don't know. Maybe, I feel bad that got canceled at the last minute.
It
But you
did.
know what? With hindsight, whoa, that was the right call.
It was, yeah. For the audience that's watching, we did have a trip planned to Cabo, and we did elect to pass on it this year, which we
It's
needed that.
so
But
sad, but
yep. But there's plenty of time and things like that.
yeah.
And like you said, if you can just be intentional about just doing some dates and things like that, that's
Mhm.
helpful too. So yeah.
And I love the idea of just getting away for the night, just to change of scenery. It lets you like look at your partner in a different way. You're used to seeing them the same way, and then you go on like an overnight date, and it just brings back that like feeling of getting to know them again. I think I love that. And it doesn't have to, like you said, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be. We did that once. We went downtown to the W Hotel, and it was so much fun. We went out to dinner, and it was just different. It was nice, and especially when you have people who have kids at home,
Yep.
if you can get like, obviously not right now, but sometime in the future, get someone to come stay with them, get grandma to come stay or something, and just get away for a night. It makes a big difference. Like Shannon should do that.
Yeah.
So I know she's been home with kids. This has been super, super helpful. Thank you. And where is the best place for people to find you? You're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, and you have a website. Where are you the most, Jodi?
Probably our website is pretty new, and we're trying to build that up a little bit more. And
Mhm.
so that's been taking some time, but that's o2esprint.com.
O2esprint.com.
Yeah, so it's O2E, ordinary to extraordinary, because we are trying, with all the chaos and the busyness, we're trying to make ordinary days more extraordinary and create more extraordinary days. And then Sprint for us is an acronym that stands for 5 different themes that Will and I work at intentionally really hard on a daily basis in our marriage in order to keep it thriving and strong and healthy. And so
Mhm.
just like spiritual intimacy, physical intimacy, recreational. We're spending time together, interpersonal communication, nutrition,
Mhm.
well-being, and
Mm,
so we kind of, that's kind of what the O2, what the sprint is about. But
that's
other,
great.
yeah, yeah. So otherwise, Instagram, and that's O2E sprint as well.
Okay.
And sprint, and then otherwise, ordinary to extraordinary. I have a page, on Facebook too. So
Okay.
some things. So thank you. Yeah. So.
Yeah, thank you. Well, this has been wonderful, Jodi. It's so nice to see you and talk to you. And thank you for all the wonderful advice. And anybody who just wants to, even if you have a great marriage, Jodi still can just elevate it with some of her ideas and some of her tips. So please follow her, reach out to her, and I'll put all the links in here. And I realized last time when I did this with Yasna, as soon as I hit stop playing, then you and I are gone. So I need to say goodbye to you now,
Oh,
Jodi. Thank you so
thank you so
much.
much,
Yeah,
Christy. You are amazing. Thank
you're
you.
amazing. I'm so glad that you shared that. Thank you. What a gift. Take
Okay.
care.
We'll talk
Bye.
soon. Bye bye.
Bye.